What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. In today's fundamentals video, we're going to be going over the armbar from mount. If you find it useful, make sure you hit that like button. Let's do the technique. To attack the armbar from mount, I think about two things when I'm in the mount position, right? If my partner's arms are low like this, I'm gonna be more accessible to attacking the neck. That being said, when I attack the neck, their arms move a little higher. So what Byron's doing is he's Xing his arms and he's protecting his neck, which means his elbows are a little higher. My whole goal is to get his elbows away from his body so that I can attack the armbar. So my armbar is gonna be like this. I'm gonna pin the wrist, I'm gonna push the shoulder, or push the tricep right here. And as I push the tricep up, I want to seal that space with my rib cage, and I can put that same side hand on the mat. Now I use my body to straighten his arm across his body. Right, so you see his arm here. Now what I can do is I'm going to use this hand to post, keeping his wrist pinned. I slide my knee above his head. It's really important that I'm above his head and not next to his shoulder. From here, both of my hands switch to the far elbow. I pull his elbows up, and I shoot my leg across. So sliding it across the mat here, turning my heel, trying to pinch my heel and my knee. Now I'm in a tight classic S mount here. His shoulders are kind of clamped up here. The arm that's closest to his head is gonna hook elbow to the wrist, kind of a clamp grip. And now I can grab my collar if I want to, but really I just keep that wrist pinched. This hand posts on the hip across his body. And now my leg slides over his head as I slowly fall to the hip position, trying to keep my hips really close to his shoulder. I had my clamp grip. As I fall back, I slide my hands to the wrist, keeping good control of his thumb away from my body, and I pick the side of the hip that's closest to his hip. I'm going to angle his arm across that hip, keeping my knees pinched, and slowly bridging to get the finish. The first problem we're going to talk about is not getting my classic mount high enough on my partner's body. So I pin the wrist, push the elbow up, and get his arm across his body here. When I slide my left knee up right here, if I put my knee here and I try to go to S mount, this is good, but because my knees aren't pinched tight enough and my left knee isn't above his head here, Byron can shoulder walk and drive his elbows down. So as he drives his elbows down, he shoulder walks, right? His shoulders start to get free, and now I don't have the ability to attack the armbar. I'm too far away from his shoulder with my hips. He's just gonna escape if I try to throw it here. His elbow goes to the mat. Even if I get my leg over the head right, his arm is coming free and I no longer have the ability to submit him. To solve that problem, it's really important, right? Pinning. It's really important that when I go to my S mount, my left knee, my back knee comes really far. See, I'm above his head now. I'm covering the top of his head. Now when I pinch his shoulders here, my goal should always be for my heel and my knee to be touching if I can, right? It's a little too tight for me to touch right now, but this is way better than this right here to isolate the arms and actually finish the submission. So the second problem I want to talk about is falling backwards, right? And actually spin this way. Being at this angle here, you guys can see my active toes, right? If I'm not having active toes in the armbar, my hips start to fall to the mat here. And now I'm sitting on my leg. So if I try to hook his arm and throw my leg over his head, right? When I throw my leg over his head, I'm already laying on the mat. And it's very easy for Byron to start coming up as I throw my leg over, and this is how you end up getting stacked on top. So when I manage to get to this high classic mount like this, I don't want my toes to be flat on the mat. I want my toes to be active so that my weight and my center of gravity is directly above Byron. That way when I fall, right, I'm not falling backwards to get my leg over the head. I'm leaning towards his far hip. You guys see how my back leg is light now? That's my third problem, right? A lot of times people will get here and maybe everything's correct. Maybe my position is tight enough, but instead of leaning across his body, I fall backwards. Same thing, he comes up on top. Again, we're in our S mount. I don't want to fall backwards to get my arm bar. I want to lean across. Sometimes people will hug the leg, but the idea is the same. I'm putting my weight on Byron so that this leg, sorry Byron, this leg is light and I can slide it over. Now everything's tight and he has no ability to come up on top when I go for the finish. From my armbar position, we always talk about not locking. You always hear people say, don't lock your feet in the armbar, right? I'm gonna tell you why. If I lock my feet here, my left leg, the pressure is no longer on my partner's head, which means that they're able to come up on top a little easier. When I'm telling beginners how to do an armbar, there are times to do this, okay? It's not always wrong, but the reason I tell beginners to just not lock your feet is because I wanna keep his shoulder close to my hips. So I use my outside leg to drag his head close to my hips, and now my foot is stomping down into the mat. Now if he tries to sit up, that leg is heavy, and I'm keeping as much of his arm as a lever as I can. Last thing I want to talk about here is the thumb, right? I'm going to widen my knees a little bit so Byron can move, but if the thumb turns to the outside of his, or to the side of his head at all, he's going to be doing a hitchhiker escape. And now he's working his way out of the submission, right? So it's important that when I go for my armbar, I had my clamp grip, right? As I fall back, I'm immediately trying to control the wrist and keep the thumb pointed away from me, but not so far that his thumb points towards his head. I keep the thumb pointed up, my knees very tight, right? If my knees are loose at all, you're guys gonna see there's more room to go before he taps, as opposed to if I pinch my knees and pull it all, there's a lot more space. And even if he was really, really flexible, I would still have the ability to finish when my knees are pinched and I'm controlling the thumb, keeping it pointed away. That's the armbar from Mount Top. Hopefully you found that video useful. If you're new to the channel, try and hit that subscribe button. It's much appreciated. And as always, stay consistent, go train.